Perfect. All right. Well, welcome everyone to our monthly coaching session for April. We are going over final report preparation and best practices. I'm Amber Westbrook with the South Carolina Arts Commission, and we also have Catherine Entube with us today, our specialist for arts organizations and arts education. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start with a good old screen share. Let's see here. Okay, can everyone see that screen? Okay, you guys are seeing our follow-up? Okay, perfect. So this is just, we're gonna go over some of the basic sections of the final report. Everyone does have to answer these no matter which final report it is. Okay. So as we always ask, contract updates, if there's been any changes, you just answer that right here. And then we go into the grant activity summary. So usually the project name automatically populates for you, debating on which grant you have. And then of course the actual start date that you began purchases, please put that in there, and then your actual end date. It's okay if it seems a little off from what your original grant project dates were. We just like to have that data. It's really important that we collect that for you and for our records. All right, populations benefited. Please select any category. This, of course, is your best estimate. We understand the actuals are really hard to obtain, excuse me. So it just makes up 25% or more. If not, we do have the option, no single race ethnic group listed above, up more than 25%. So please answer those to the best of your ability. Also come in for our arts education, and then choose one of the three that best describes that percentage of funded activities. Of course, we do directed towards K-12, higher education students, pre-kindergarten children, adult learners, and then answer that to the best of your abilities. We come up to our project participants. Again, these numbers, we understand actuals are hard to obtain, so do your best to estimate these numbers. Now this year we do have a slight change. We have an optional, this is not required, virtual arts experiences. So you understand that during COVID-19, a lot of pivots have been made, and we, of course, there's a lot of virtual content out there. So this is figures that you could obtain. We do understand that sometimes you're not able to pull that kind of report, but just again, your best estimate. And then we do have a section underneath, just an explanation. I'll just briefly describe how you tracked it. And then of course, what activities that was geared towards. So I think, yeah, we have the example up there. If you shared a lesson plan content with teachers, not able to collect that data as to how many students were impacted, you can just state that there. It's totally fine. And we'll also touch base on this when I mentioned the activity locations spreadsheet. I think a majority of you are familiar with. Come down to, of course, our NEA outcomes. We used to have a link here that kind of went towards the NEA website. We took that down. They are currently reconstructing what that looks like. So please just pick the one that best applies to your particular project. And then, of course, this is what I just mentioned, the grant activity locations form. So you'll go over here, click that download. Let me go ahead and pop that up real quick. And share that. Okay, there we go. Let's do the whole thing right here. Okay. So I believe you guys can see that activity locations form. So this, again, the venue address. We asked for city, state, zip code, and then number of activity days that occurred at that address. If you are having, virtual content, whoever was hosting that particular webinar or like virtual class, we just ask that that address goes there. And of course, we know a lot of this usually is the same address as the organization. Let's see here. Okay.
Are you showing the spreadsheet? Because I'm not seeing that.
We're not seeing the spreadsheet? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just a moment. How about now? Does that show? My apologies.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to follow it down.
Thank you. So as you can see now, we do have our venue address, venue, city, state, zip code, number of activity days. So wherever that applies, especially like I said, for virtual content, do your best to just add those in there. All right, exit out of that. Okay, and you should still be seeing our application form at this time. Okay. All right, so then of course we come over here. Now currently, this is on a budget for an individual artist. I'm gonna do 2 examples of the budget form today that you would typically see. We go over to our artist. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and step for you. For each budget form, we do have form instructions. That's on one tab that you'll see here. And then the budget form will be on the next tab. And then of course we do have some guiding comment boxes for you just to assist you through the process. But your instructions, you can always click back and forth between the two as you complete the form. The most important sections of the final report that we just asked, double check. If you have any questions, please reach out to us about it. But obviously your grantee name here, that will be stated on the contract, whichever that is. Most of the time for organizations, you will definitely put the organization name and not your personal name. Choose from the match. And that will also be, those details will be listed within your final report. If you need a reminder about your match, it's also located on your grant contract. Let's see, and just click whichever one is applicable. And then you will enter the amount for your grant award, how much that is. And you want to make sure that that is entered, because once you start entering in your calculations here, it will automatically populate the maximum award payout based on what you have entered within your expenses and also your income. This form is slightly simplified because this is for an individual artist, but I'm going to go ahead and switch over. To our other. Here we go. This one is geared towards organizations. This one does include the in-kind. We do have some awards, of course, where up to 50% of that in-kind is included in your match. So we do, of course, have the same top 3 green boxes that you should enter that information in, and then enter in as many details as you can within these sections here, just to kind of let us know what exactly the in-kind was. And donations of services or materials. And then it will automatically calculate that allowable in-kind amount for you here. And then it will also include it within your income section here. So we'll all tally up at the bottom. And then of course, we'll tell you if you have your surplus or your deficit. All right. And then of course, we get to our narrative summary. This is pretty standard among all final reports. So we always ask for the main summary of the funded activities and what took place, how and when. And then of course, this is a great time for you to specify any changes that have happened from the beginning of the application process, award, and then to the end of your project. Activity evaluation. So this is just how you evaluated your funding activities. Was the project successful? Why or why not? How did you evaluate that success? We understand that there's a very broad range of how someone can evaluate those successes. So in any way that your organization or you did as an individual, please enter that in there. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to us, but also to your program director, because they can help you with these content questions. Outstanding accomplishment, we always love to see what exactly your most outstanding accomplishment was for this project during the grant period. So always keep that in the back of your mind as you're going through and recording data and getting set up for this report. And then of course the activities impact. The impact that your project has had on an audience or a community. Again, this is a broad range of how some organizations, individuals record that impact, what exactly that means to them. I feel like there's no wrong answer here, but if you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out. And we do understand sometimes projects that may have been extended or are looking, some more time has been added on, a projected impact or how you hope to capture this later on is acceptable here. And then of course we have the specified section here, changes from application. That's any specific thing that's like dates or again, activities. Then we have our outreach and funding credit. So we do like to see how you've reached out to members of the General Assembly, your local officials, state officials, just for the value of this grant to your project. This information is also stated within your grant contract. And then of course, funding credit. We just like to see whether that's on a website or any kind of flyers or prints that you've stated some accreditation there. And then of course, we have our COVID-19 impact. This was also on our final reports for 2020, and they are here again. So you'll state here, if yes, you have had COVID impact, we'll have another section pop up for you, just describing, the funded programs and activities that were affected and how they were affected. Then the names of artists and organizations that would have been involved in that programming or those activities that were impacted because you've had to pivot. A lot of this is artists in residence. Again, anyone that you've hired or is working in partnership with the project. And then the financial impact. So again, this is an estimate of what that is. If you have actuals, that's great too, but we understand that that might be more of an estimation. And then last but not least, you'll come to the evaluation section. This is for our services and grants activities. This is anonymous as we pull data, and please just, as you apply, you do have the NA option. If that question is not applicable to you, we also have any ways of the Arts Commission improvement that you can add extra comments there as well. You'll go, of course, to your certification and then just click submit. All right. Go ahead and stop sharing here just for a moment. Go ahead and pull this back up. Okay. Does anyone have any questions at this time on any of this? And please feel free to unmute yourselves.
I think it's outstanding that we're all still in business after all of this year, honestly. Yeah, it's been quite the challenge for everyone. I really appreciate your help, and Catherine's and the whole team. You've made it very possible to really keep it going. So, and thank you for adding that virtual piece, because so much of what we've been doing has been virtual this year.
Oh, absolutely. It's our pleasure. Thank you guys so much. for all of the work that you do. We greatly appreciate you. I think we definitely work and collaborate. It's definitely much a collaboration.
Great, great. I think it's pretty straightforward, probably. You know, we've done this before, and so for us, it's, you know, if I have questions, I know I can always reach out.
Absolutely. We're always here for you. Again, there's no question. I feel that is, I think some people say a stupid question. I'm like, no, there's no such thing. So please ask any and all.
Okay.
So I will just give you guys an update on what is to come. Let me go ahead and do this one last time.
And remind me the deadline on the report.
Sure. So the deadline on your report that will be stated in your contract are June 1st, 21. But for our operating support grantees, that is a different deadline. That is mid-August, just to get proper data for your last completed fiscal.
Okay, very good.
I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys what's coming up next as far as our coaching sessions go. The next one we have in May is just updating grant contacts as we prepare for the next fiscal year. And then, of course, some other final reports and just, you know, grant managers change over time. And then, of course, executive directors, et cetera. There's just a lot of changes do happen. And then, of course, June 3rd, that is when we do have our operating support application and final report updates. And that is really a walkthrough, mostly just for operating support.
Okay.
We still do have our one-on-ones available. You can click these 15-minute or 30-minute sessions. If you do need any one-on-one time with us involving a screen share and kind of a walk through the process, we're happy to do that. Alrighty. So if you guys don't have any further questions, I guess we'll be done for today. And we just thank you so much for participating. And we can't wait to see you next time. So have a wonderful week.